National Indoor Arena here in Birmingham, and to the last of our domestic heats. Next week we kick off with our quarter-finals. That, of course, means that our contenders will be that little bit closer to our prizes.
And what prizes they are. This year's champions will each drive off with one of these amazing top-of-the-range sporting cabriolets and £1,000. Our runners-up will each receive a dream holiday on the paradise island of the Comores.
So let's meet our contenders tonight. They are Julie Stokes
and Helen Martin.
Oh, Julie, welcome to Gladiators. What is this?
This is the champion's shirt.
Tell them what it says.
It says Bury Football Club.
So that's very exciting. You made it to Gladiators this year.
I have, yes.
And what happened with them?
They made it to Division 1 as champions of Division 2.
Well, that's something, isn't it? I can tell there's 4 people over there who are excited by that. Listen, Julie, tell us what you do and where you're from.
I'm a staff nurse on Special Care Baby Unit. Everybody's up there from the unit. I'm not quite sure who's actually looking after the babies tonight.
We must also mention, of course, you've got 2 daughters, and I really have to say that you are an inspiration to anybody watching Gladiators, because you weren't particularly fit before you had your daughters, right?
No, I couldn't do 1 chin-up 2 years ago, but thanks to a very good personal trainer, Julian, I've gone from a very basic level of fitness to being here today.
But are you saying then that Gladiators was your inspiration for that?
It was, yeah. We've sat on the couch like everybody else, going, oh, yes, I could do this, and dodging and weaving the gauntlet, you know, and I just had to get here.
Well, you're here, and we're glad to see you here. We're dying to see you in action. Let's hear it for Julie Stokes.
Helen, I believe you did a little bit of unusual training for Gladiators.
Yeah, that's right. I've been training with Mark. Thank you, Mark, from the Army PTI. He's got me boxing, going over all sorts of assault courses and things. Nothing's too difficult with Mark, so no problems.
Good fun. Tell us a little bit about where you come from and what you do.
Well, I graduated from Leicester University last year, and now I'm doing an MSc at Nottingham University in occupational psychology.
So what's life like as a student?
I don't have a student life. I've been training for Gladiators, so I don't have a student life. No beer, no late nights.
Now, what do you want to do when you finish being a student?
Hoping to have a career in PR.
OK, let's hope you make it through Gladiators and on to PR. Let's hear it for Helen!
Well, we've met the girls. Now it's time to meet the guys. Tonight they are Gordon James
and Carl Wooton.
You sound like one of the characters from Thomas the Tank Engine.
Well, I've got a middle name, Henry. That's also a Thomas.
Oh, this is a worry. Gordon Henry James, are you firing on all engines tonight?
Tonight, I'm the big engine.
Oh! Listen, tell us what you do and where you're from.
I'm a systems engineer, and I come from Birkenhead on the Wirral.
2 other people are from there as well. Tell us what you do to keep fit and...
To keep fit, I do a lot of cycling. You know, potter about on my bike. And I also do circuit training with Dad's Army, who are there tonight.
It's all very secret talk. I don't understand a word of it. You also play the piano. You've been playing the piano since you were about 9.
Yeah, I have been playing since I was 9.
Are you any good?
I'm OK. Not too bad.
Not too bad. Well, I won't ask you to play the piano tonight, but we'll ask you to do 1 or 2 other things. Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, it's going to be a good night.
It certainly is. Let's hear it for Gordon Henry James.
Carl, I've got to ask you, what's with the hat?
I don't know if you noticed, Jeremy, every time the Wolfman comes out, he's got a little hat on. And I think it's a wig, and anything he can do, I can do better. Whoa!
The similarities with Wolf don't stop there, do they? What's your nickname?
I'm the Wild Thing. So, Wolfman, I'm coming for your anthem, man.
Why the Wild Thing?
As I said before, anything that Wolf can do, I can do better.
OK, Carl, tell us a little bit about where you're from and what you do.
I live down in Sittingbourne, down in Kent now, but originally from Warsaw, round about the Birmingham area. So welcome, Birmingham!
And what do you do for a living?
I'm a PTI in the prison service.
And so, do you get much time to relax?
A little bit, yeah. And relaxing is playing games, bits of sports, a bit of everything.
Yeah. Everything. Well, I think you're going to be involved in everything tonight in Gladiators. Hope you have a good time. Hope you enjoy it. Let's hear it for Carl!
Well, the girls are ready for their first event, so let the games begin. First up on Duel, it's Julie. She's going to be battling it out against Rio. Over to John.
Contender ready! Gladiator ready! On guard and on your screens, the Rio stats, 187 in the height department and 83 kilos weight-wise. A look at Julie's will confirm she's 20 centimetres shorter than Rio and 22 kilos lighter. Do you ever get the feeling she's got her work cut out? But let's not grumble, let's rumble. And Rio with a smack to make her stumble. Julie in trouble from the off, coming back. Oh, steps onto Rio's platform, instant disqualification. And boy, has she got the ump. Shame she didn't throw it with that kind of force in competition against Rio. Julie first with a tap, but Rio responds with a whack. Julie loses control, tries to lean in too far and steps across.
Julie, clearly, shall I say, disappointed to say the least with that event, if not a little angry.
Just a little angry. But when you're facing this girl...
She's not a girl, she's an... I don't know what she is.
Female gladiator, I think, is what you're looking for.
Was it? Right, yeah. You don't give them a fair chance, do you?
Well, you know, I must admit, I'm a little bit bigger than her, and she's got a lot of determination, a lot of courage, and that's what it takes to be a contender on this show, and I'm sure all her fans are really proud of her.
Certainly are. And a lot of anger. You say that for the Eliminator. Let's hear it for Julie, and well done to Rio. Next up on Duel, it's Helen. She's going to be facing Rocket. Over to John Anderson.
Contender ready! Gladiator ready! On guard! Helen Martin hopes not to be smarting, but she knows Rocket can really suck it to her. Last week on the Duel, Rocket dispensed with Juliet Machin with a single blow, and already Helen's done better. Blows raining down. Oh, and so's Helen. She's out of there, and who can blame her for that? Rocket propels her from the platform. Sister Claire uncharitably joining in. Mum and Dad just happy to see the back of that event. Well, Rocket served up a serious portion of pugil stick to post an exit visa for Helen.
I think I counted 4 blows.
And they were hard ones, believe me. That was good.
Is your head still spinning?
No, my head's fine, actually. It's still on. So we're all right.
You're just a tough cookie, you.
She stood up quite well for about 2 to 3. But I thought it's just a matter of time before she was going to go. And she went.
She did. Let's hear it for Rocket and for Helen. Never mind.
Well, Rocket's launched her gladiator career with style. After one event, Julie has 0, Helen has 0. Let's go weight training with the Glads.
S for strength and S for speed. Together, we have power. And that's what this next activity is about. We're using local materials. The boys are going to hurl these rocks as far as they can over the first line or the second line, 5 points and 10 points. This is tremendous preparation for the power games like sumo, gauntlet and all the other tough games. So let's go, Hunter.
Small local rock jump.
Okay, good shot. 10 points. Carefully, use the legs, keep the back straight. Good lifting.
Come on, Rhino.
Go on, big thing.
Come on, big one now.
Lock in.
Come on.
Good shot again. 10 points. Let's go for it now. That's 2 in a row. 1 more. Yes. 10 points. 3 now. Wolf. Next up.
Hey!
5 points.
Look where I started.
Don't argue. 5 points.
Say, cheat, look where I started.
4 points.
Look, I'm back here.
3 points.
The stick's over there and I'm a foot behind it.
2 points.
They cheated.
1 point.
Where I started.
No point.
Time now for our next event. First up on Whiplash is Gordon. And he's facing Hunter. Over to John Anderson.
Lock it.
Earlier, Gordon told me he's well aware of the great legacy of Merseyside contenders this show has. Wah.
The most famous contender up to now has got to be Eunice from Liverpool. However, she's a Scouser, and I'm from Birkenhead, which is the other side of the Mersey, and there is a bit of a difference. However, if I can do as well as her, then that'd be great.
Contender ready! Ready to go, ready!
All together. Oh, and he's gone. Hunter wrenches the dog bone from Gordon's hand in 1.2 seconds. A stunned silence descends on the arena.
That was very quick.
Yeah, I'm afraid I don't think I strapped up properly, and as a consequence, the guy's just big and strong, and he yanked it out of my hand.
You weren't put off by the look of Hunter, were you?
Well, he looked pretty mean. Yeah, he's missed practice on his face.
Hunter looks as though he psyched Gordon out.
Yeah, I was a little bit miffed, actually. Warrior's injured tonight, and so I've had to take his place in the Whiplash. And, you know, I was all geared up and ready for it. Rhino's been slapping me around out the back there, but, you know, I would have liked to have a bit of a run around, but, you know, it's quite hard to hold on to that handle.
Let's hear it for Hunter and Gordon.
It's all in the pool.
And he should know, one of the most popular and successful gladiators in history.
Our second male contender is Carl. And he's facing Rhino.
He's a bit of a beefy boy, is Rhino. Only stands 1.72 m tall, but look at that tonnage. 112 kilos in weight with a 132 chest. That means Carl's 11 centimetres taller, but 29 kilos lighter, which makes all the difference in the Whiplash circle. 30 seconds. Oh, but how about that? Rhino doesn't need him. Wrenches the dog bone from Carl's hand. There it was, and there it was, and Rhino happy with that, but John Anderson's blown up.
I have told you once, I will not tell you again. No jerking. We start again.
How about that? According to the ref, a bit of jerking crept in, and the rules are quite clear. Positively no jerking in the Whiplash circle, and if John saw jerking, then jerking there must have been. Here we go again.
3, 2, 1.
As I was about to say before, 30 seconds to keep a hold of the dog bone and score 5 points. 10 if Carl can haul Rhino out of the circle. Rhino trying to wrench the bone from Carl's grasp, but John's blown up again. Must have been some more jerking. And Rhino is raging with fury. It's not like him.
It's disqualified.
And a sensation here. Rhino disqualified. Oh, he's cooled off quick, though. A giant smile.
Rhino was really going for it there.
Yeah, he shoved his mouth off. Lots of aggression. What can I say?
But you still couldn't get him out.
Nah, I tried my hardest. Tough character. Strong lad. Really strong.
Carl scores 10 points.
What you might call an eventful event. With one down, Gordon's on 0, Carl has 10. Back to the sun.
Isn't it beautiful, guys?
No.
Yeah. No wonder they call it the Duel of the Indian Ocean. And look over there, guys, the famous volcano called the Sur. Look, that's the capital, Port Louis. And look over there, Cocoa Beach, our training camp.
And there's John Anderson having a go at Wolf again. Tell you what, it's good to be looking down on him rather than the other way round, isn't it?
John Anderson, look at John Anderson. Let's see if we can land on his ball patch. Yay! John Anderson!
In view of what happened in the last game of Whiplash, we're going to bring in John Anderson for a ruling. John.
Jeremy, as you know, the game is about defending on the part of the Gladiator and pulling out on the part of the contender. And I was very unhappy about the way in which the game was played tonight, and as you know, I disqualified Rhino. But in order to be fair, I then went back and reviewed the first game with Hunter to make sure that I was being even-handed across the board. When I looked at that, I saw Hunter pulling the bone out of the contender's hands, and in order to be fair, I am disqualifying Hunter and awarding 10 points to Gordon.
OK, thank you, John.
Good decision from John. Gordon's fans not disappointed with that news, and it means that after barely 3 seconds of action between them, the guys have 10 points apiece.
Over to our next event. Our female contenders are Helen and Julie. And they're being chased by Vogue and Falcon. Over to John Anderson.
Contenders ready! Gladiators ready!
I'll second that.
3, 2...
It's the aerial figure of 8. And what a slow start. They'll need to accelerate. Oh, and there's why. They've both been blown out. First Falcon zaps Julie, then Vogue blasts Helen. Julie in pink with a slow start, punished by Falcon, then Helen struck out by Vogue. You can't get quicker than a fit, quick finisher. In the girls' competition after 2 events, the scores stay the same, 0-0. And the only one broken out in a sweat is the ref.
Now it's time for the men's event. Wearing blue in the outside track, it's Carl. And wearing red in the inside track, it's Gordon. And they're being chased by Ace and Cobra. Over to John Anderson.
Contenders ready! Gladiators ready! 3, 2, 1...
And they're off. Gordon in red with Cobra on his tail. Carl in blue being chased by the Ace. And Cobra closing on Gordon. Oh, and Gordon's gasket blown by Cobra. No points for him. Now it's all about Carl and Ace, and Carl is setting the pace. 10 points if he doesn't get caught. Gordon's still running. Carl's got several metres on Ace at the second crossover. It's into the final bend. Looks like the prison PT instructor's broken free to score the maximum. Carl in blue tiring. Oh, but he's there. Good win. His mum and dad, Val and Red, seem to think so. After 2 events, the scores look like this. Gordon stays on 10 points, Carl moves up to 20.
Join us in part 2 for more action and excitement here on Gladiators.
Welcome back to the National Indoor Arena here in Birmingham and to part 2, where we're just about to kick off with our next event. Julie! She's going to be racing against Rocket. Over to John Anderson.
Rotate the poles. Contender ready! Gladiator ready! 3, 2, 1...
10 points if Julie's first to the top of the pole. If not, she gets the axe. Rocket's debut pole axe climb sits about it in style. And Julie faltering, and that'll cost her dear. Rocket head and shoulders above her, heading for the clouds, and the button which will send Julie back to earth with a bang. Here she comes. Gonna strike the down button, and old Julie's pegs retract. No points. Daughter Sarah disappointed with that performance. Rocket well up for it, hammers the button, which signals the end for Julie.
Well, Julie, you did manage to make it 3/4 of the way up, but I mean, I have to say, Rocket went like a rocket.
She certainly did. All fairness to her, she did well. It's quite slippy on the feet, really, to get a good hold, but it's given me a bit of fire.
And a bit of hunger.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Julie!
Rocket, very quick, very clinical.
Favourite game, I love it. Just in terms of get from the bottom to the top, and that's it. And at the end of the day, the Gladiators came through as usual.
Let's hear it for Rocket!
Well said.
Next up on pole axe, it's Helen! She's going to be facing Lightning!
And a thunderous roar for the Lightning. Let's have a treat and remind ourselves of her stats. Stands 170 and weighs 57 kilos. A look at Helen reveals that the contender is only giving away 3 centimetres height-wise and 2 kilos in the weight department.
3, 2, 1...
Evenly matched, so it's the survival of the fittest. Hit the pole together, Lightning very fast. Again, the contender tentative on the climb. And Lightning looking good for another win. Unbeaten so far this season. Helen getting into step, but has she left it too late? And Lightning will get to the top of the pole first. Oh, look at that confidence. Took where Helen is and then slaps her out of the points. Roger and Maggie knew she came close. Good effort by Helen. Lightning half a turn in the lead, and in the end delays striking the button, so Helen gets further to fall. There it is, and there she goes.
Well, Helen, bearing in mind that you're racing against Lightning, you did very, very well indeed.
It might have helped if I didn't slip a couple of times, but she's too good, too good.
She absolutely is. No points on this occasion, but plenty more events. Let's hear it for Helen!
Lightning, when are you going to start giving contenders a chance?
Well, it's slightly different to when we used to do it before. As you can see, the platform and the run up to it. So to actually mount the pole after the whistle is totally different to standing there. But it's just as much fun, and it was good. And I could see her actually going around all the time I was going around. I was going to try and cheer her on, but I didn't have time.
Great performance as usual. Let's hear it for Lightning!
Positive stuff from the pin-up. After 3 events, Julie remains on 0, so does Helen.
So we now move into the men's event with Gordon. And he's going to be racing against Khan.
Khan, give our regards to your dad, Genghis. 14 kilos, which according to my calculator means that Gordon is 13 centimetres shorter and 35 kilos lighter.
3, 2, 1.
They turn and they race to the pole. Khan's size means he's nearer the top at the start, but has more bulk to pull up the pole. Gordon with the better start, computer programmer from Birkenhead looking to download the Khan. Khan's got his work cut out because level pegging in 8. Can Gordon keep up the pace? He can, right on the button. The Khan's for the drop, 10 points to Gordon, and watch out below. Mum and Dad, Dot and Eric love it. Dot's impression of the Mersey Tunnel there, sheer delight. Khan's climb not his best, and Gordon just made sure he pegged out. For once, the canny Khan is conquered.
Well, Gordon the tank engine made it to the top.
I like that game. That's a buzz, that one.
I've just had a thought. Maybe we should call Khan Can't.
Can't, cannot, see ya.
Whoa! 10 points! That's it for Gordon! Next up on poleaxe, it's Carl. And he's going to be racing against the Wolfman. Over to John Anderson.
Rotate the poles. Contender ready! Ready, ready!
Not too close.
3, 2, 1.
Carl needs a win to regain his lead. Wolf to the pole first, and Carl struggling with his pegs. Terrible starts. Mum and Dad, Val and Reg know he's lost it already. Wolf climbing strongly. Fast work from him. He'll be first to the top. And Wolfie is there. Oh, Wolf's lost it. Inches from victory and parts company with a pole. Carl with a clear climb to the top and 10 points. Wolf downcast. Wolf, agonisingly close to the button, slips and slides, and the only way is down.
I nearly paid my licence fee. That was worth every penny.
Yeah, I slipped at first. It's probably my favourite event. So I'm like, oh, my head's gone at first. Then I got me stride, giving us, heard a big scream, looked across us, and the Wolfman go down.
And you took advantage of it. 10 points. Let's hear it for Carl. Well done.
Wolf, I think for the first time ever, people in the arena here might feel sorry for you.
I couldn't see him. Was I winning?
You were winning by a mile.
I don't believe this.
What happened?
I thought I was at the top, and I looked around, and I fell off.
Anyway, let's have a big cheer for Wolf!
A grin from the old fella knows he snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. After 3 events, Gordon goes to 20, Carl to 30, and we go to the training camp.
If you watched the Olympics a couple of years ago, you would have seen the weightlifters use several different techniques to get the weights up. One is called the press.
Press? Where? Quick, hide me!
Ah! No, wait, not the press, the weightlifting press. Anyway, another technique that they use is called the jerk. Oi, you talking about me? I'm talking about the weightlifting jerk. Oh, that's all right. Anyway, this is our work. You can go and get some orange juice, would you, pal? Yeah, sure. Is that a milk and sugar? He was right. He is a jerk.
On now with our next event. Standing at the foot of the wall, ready to climb, it's Jules. She's going to be chased by Rebel. contemplating the wall. It's Helen. She's going to be chased by Fox.
Earlier, Helen told me about the backing she'd had from her family.
Mum and Dad have been really supportive all the way, but I don't quite think they realise what I've got myself in for. My mum watched some Gladiators videos the other day, and she said to me, "Oh, it's very rough, isn't it?" And I said, "Mum, don't worry about it. I've been doing the training. And I think if anything happens to me on the show, they'll come down and bash the Gladiators for me."
They do look a bit useful.
Contenders, you will go on my first whistle. Gladiators, you will go on my second whistle. 3, 2, 1.
A 60-second scramble to the summit to score 10 points, 5 for the runner-up. Julie in pink with a slow start. Helen faring not much better. They need to get as much distance between themselves and the ground before the Glads calm, and Rebels after Julie. Fox is hunting down Helen. Rebels there in moments, grabs a thigh, grabs a knee pad, grabs a, well, anything that's available to hold Julie from that wall. Hooks onto the harness. Looks like the end. Rebel swings it. No points for Julie. Daughter Gemma disappointed. Helen's climbing well, but Fox is closing, grabs a harness one-handed and hoiks her away. Helen's history. Boyfriend Michael looks exhausted just watching that climb. Rebel was quickly onto Julie scrapping, used it well to lever her away. And that was the technique employed by Fox to deny Helen the points. The harnesses employed for their safety were also used in their downfall. After 4 events, it's still Julie 0, Helen 0.
Into the men's event with Gordon. He's going to be chased by Ace. Also standing at the foot of the wall, it's Carl. And he's going to be pursued by Hunter. Over to John Anderson.
Contenders, you will go on my first whistle. Gladiators, you will go on my second whistle. 3, 2, 1.
Carl in blue and Gordon in red. They know these Gladiators are wall specialists, and the odds of them getting to the top are not good. Carl works in a prison, so training guys to climb walls isn't part of his regime. Here come the Glads, Hunter on Carl, Ace against Gordon. Both contenders pass the overhang, but Hunter's nearly on terms. Superb stuff as ever from Hunter. Goes alongside his man, trying persuasion rather than pulling. Carl won't take the hint, so Hunter takes him, and Ace finishes off Gordon. Gordon's mum, Doc, can see the funny side. Hunter reaches out and takes Carl by the scruff of the neck. Ace, meantime, grabs Gordon's thigh, and both contenders part company with the wall.
Gordon, I'm afraid you hesitated a little bit too long there at the foot of the wall.
I was looking for a good hold there, but you haven't got time to think about that. You've got to be quick.
And you were straight in there. No messing.
I was happy with that performance. You've got to get it right at the beginning, otherwise you're in trouble.
Well, and what about over here, Carl? Oh, you did quite well. I mean, you made it to the first overhang.
Yeah, he got up there and he says to me, he said, "You're going to jump off or shall I pull you off?"
Yes. Well, we've got a new game for you. I just thought, what about if we put you in a straitjacket and leave you down here for 5 minutes? You'd still get them, wouldn't you?
I've still got my legs, so should be okay.
Let's hear it for Hunter, Ace, Gordon and Carl.
With 1 event left, the scores stand at Gordon 20, Carl 30.
This exercise is called sit-ups. There are many variations on the theme, but it works the hip flexors, the rectus abdominis, the transverse oblique, and all the other trunk muscles. That's what makes this massive torso. Sometimes it's called the six-pack exercise.
Or in my case, a party pack. 808. 809.
And first up to run the gauntlet, it's Julie. And tonight, she's facing Vogue, Siren, Gold, Falcon, and Lightning.
Julie's a neonatal nurse. Is this really the place for her?
Because of the nature of the work I do, I have to be very gentle and careful with the babies. So there is a lot of pent-up aggression just waiting to get out. I can't wait to face the gauntlet and those 5 gladiators and battle my way through.
3, 2,
So, Julie's not kidding when it comes to crunch time. Vogue's her first hurdle, the barrier's down. Julie barges her back. Siren next with the pads, pushes her down, but Julie spins out of trouble. 10 points for running the gauntlet in under 20 seconds. Daughters Gemma and Sarah telling her to get stuck in. Gold tries to take the shine off her progress. Next, it's Falcon. The 10 looks unattainable, but Falcon lets her slip. Lightning straight into action and a lot of detaining to do. Julie's down, but she's there. 5 points for running the gauntlet in under 30. The family and friends know those points were earned the hard way.
Well, Julie, this was an event where both of you actually need to pick up a few points. I'm hoping that you will have done so. We'll wait and find out what your time was, but that was an absolutely amazing run. Let's hear it for Julie.
Beats doing it on the setting.
Oh, my God. Let's bring in our timekeeper.
Julie crossed the line in 25 seconds. 5 points.
Woo! Well done, let's hear it for Julie. Next up against the Dream Team, it's Helen. Over to John Anderson.
Contender ready! Gladiators ready! 3, 2, 1.
Helen knows that Julie has the edge, storms into action, studies occupational psychology. Can she psych out the Vogue? Vogue handling the ramrod with skill, keeping Helen at bay. Now, Helen free for Siren section. Double-handed action to give Helen the push. Helen up the wall, driving on, and it's Gold next. After Gold, it's headlong into Falcon. Good stop by the Falcon. Halts her progress. The 10 points have gone. Can Helen make it for 5? Lightning, oh, over the top, and Helen takes 5 points. Sister Claire with Mum and Dad, Maggie and Rog celebrate.
You must be delighted with that, Helen. I mean, you cheated Lightning at the end, you ran underneath her. That was, again, a terrific run. 5 points? I don't know, I'm not going to tell you just yet. Oh, all right, hang on then. Let's bring Eugene in. What's the time?
Well, Helen snuck across the line in 28 seconds. That's also 5 points. 5
points! Well done! Well done. Let's hear it for Helen. And let's hear it for our Gladiators!
Let's hear it indeed. Vogue, Siren, Gold, Falcon and Lightning. After 5 events, both scores progress. Julie has 5, Helen has 5.
First up in the men's event, it's Gordon! And he's going to be facing Cobra! Wolf! Rhino! Saracen! And Khan!
Wolf's been called a Jessie, but he's never been loved by one.
3, 2, 1.
It seems more sensible to run away from this heavy mob rather than run into them. Cobra trying to put the brakes on Gordon, but Gordon through into Wolf. Wolf holding. Rhino slams him to the ground. And it's a quick up and over from the Rhino. Doc getting hot, Eric getting exhausted. Let's see Gordon's early exit again. Goes high, Rhino defends the wall, and Gordon gets lifted out of the gauntlet.
There are 17 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1.
Gordon backs his way into Sarah. Sarah helps Gordon out again. Dot's doing the old I'm stuck between these lift doors gag.
There are 13 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1.
Well, the only thing standing between Gordon and the points is Khan. And he's up and over again. Eric can't move for anxiety.
3, 2, 1.
Gordon again, can he get through? Forces the gap, snatches the points, unofficially 22.35 points, please.
Before this event, we did anticipate that the whistle might stop once or twice. I think it stopped about 4 or 5 times, but you must be delighted with the result.
I don't know what to say. I was dreading that. They're big fellas. They're there to smash it up. And I made it through. I just kept wriggling. Keep tickling, you wrigglers!
Let's bring in our timekeeper and find out just how well you did.
Well, in the end, it was 22 seconds it took him to cross the line, so that's 5 points.
5 points! Well done, Gordon. Well deserved.
Not often you see grown men doing impressions of demented chickens. And Gordon looks like he's about to lay an egg. Whatever you do, kids, don't copy this kind of behaviour. Oh, too late.
Next up, against the Mean Machine, it's Carl. Over to John Anderson.
Contender ready! Gladiators ready! 3, 2, 1.
Carl gets stuck into Cobra. Cobra tries to call him up, pressing home the advantage. And ordered to release his captive. Next is the Hungry Wolf. Carl going for height, switches walls, and he's over the top. Rhino does prefer his contenders out of the gauntlet rather than in it. Reg and Val relieved Carl's okay. This is hair-raising stuff. In fact, Reg patting Val's hair down.
There are 22 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1.
Carl attacks the Rhino, charges him down. The Rhino is stunned and Saracen's there. Power pads prime for action. Sends Carl packing. Fast and furious work from Carl. I'm sure Rhino took a knockback there. Carl's brother Dean very content with his progress. 1 section to go. Carl could be on for a 10-pointer here.
There are 16 seconds remaining. 3, 2, 1.
Carl's got to bypass Khan, double quick for the 10 points. Khan blocking his every turn. Carl spinning and winning. Khan can't hold him. Whistle goes, he's there, just over the 20 seconds, 5 points. Carl's family happy with that. Look at Val, she's delighted. And in all the excitement, no one's noticed Rhino's injured. I thought he took a heavy knock earlier on. Carl started Rhino's section, accidentally stuck an elbow in Rhino's face, and even Rhino didn't realise the seriousness of the injury. Rhino's on his feet, Sarah whipping up some applause. Rhino with a big following here among the audience. The medics leading Rhino away by the nose. Either that or Rhino's got a nosebleed.
Well, Carl, that was a terrific run. There was a little confusion at the end there because Rhino appears to have sustained some kind of an injury, but you managed to get through and you're in one piece.
Yeah, thank God for that. He's got a hard head, Rhino. I hope he's okay.
And certainly now you need to pick up a few points before the Eliminator. Let's bring Eugene in and find out what your time was.
Carl launched himself across the line in 22 seconds. That's 5 points.
Well done, let's hear it for Carl.
5 points, and that meets with the family's approval. It also means after 5 events, Gordon moves up to 25, Carl to 35.
Well, there are 2 places remaining in our quarter-finals, but 4 contenders left. The Eliminator will decide. Join us after the break here on Gladiators. Welcome back to the National Indoor Arena here in Birmingham, where we're just moments away from finding who is going to go through to our quarter-final. Now, in the women's event, both Julie and Helen are on 5 points, so there will be no head start. Over to Jeremy.
Helen, neck and neck, what are your tactics going to be?
Just go for my life, no problems.
You're not worried about any part of the Eliminator?
No, not at all. No, I'm fine. This is the best bit.
Julie, I suppose the same applies for your good self.
Certainly.
What about you, though? Are you nervous about any aspect of the Eliminator?
No, I'm just going to go for it, give it my best.
What about the Travelator at the end?
Just going to power it up that hill.
OK, good luck to the both of you. Over to the start. Over to John Anderson.
Julie and Helen, you will both go on my first whistle. 3, 2, 1.
Fighting for a place in the quarter-finals. Julie Stokes in pink, 32-year-old mother of 2 from Bury. Helen Martin dressed in the yellow, 22-year-old Leicester-based student of occupational psychology. And Helen's early lead caught with 1 bound from Julie, side by side on the net. Gemma in the middle urging her mum on. Helen clears the top of the net first, but Julie's almost back on terms again. Helen will be the first to the rope. Julie will join her. Helen with the legs up and over, and Julie faltering there. Helen's fans are on their feet, the family riveted to their seats. Julie finishing her climb, but it's taken a giant toll. Both her daughters know it. Helen with a serious lead, the length of the entire hand ladder, swings out, makes the changeover. It's cargo net time. Maggie and Roger certainly like what they see. Julie with a nightmare hand ladder, serious trouble. Husband Adrian, hands on head, sees the glory slipping away. Helen at the top of the net now. Pulls herself up on those hand grips. Next comes the sprint to the zip and the slide to the ground. And there's the best view in the arena. A capacity crowd of 7,000 fans. Here she comes, the crash mat and victory at her side. Spectacular splashdown. Seesaw's next. And the sad side of Julie continuing to struggle. Her strength zapped, her energy sapped. Helen on the up. Next comes the down. Careful to hit the yellow. Broad grin from Mum and Dad. Second Seesaw now for the big finish. Oh, she stumbles. Smiling all over her face. Struggles with the lip. But she'll get her leg up. Heaving herself against the flow of the Travelator. She's there, onto the rope, through the burst and into the quarterfinals. Jubilation from the Martin family. Julie on the zipper, flying dismount, hits the ground running. There may be tears, but you've got to respect this 32-year-old mum of two who only took up fitness recently. Seesaw to test the nerve and balance. Takes it down. Julie runs the Manchester Marathon every year, so that'll be a walk in the park after this Eliminator. Julie's sister, Debbie, amazed at this remarkable achievement. Up the Travelator to finish the course. Tears amid the cheers from her family as Julie swings home.
Helen, you took the lead right from the start and you never looked back.
Absolutely. We've got to finish well. We've got to finish well and do your best.
What did you find the hardest on the Eliminator?
Those seesaws are a bit dodgy because I'm a bit light and I have to go all the way to the end before they tip over. But other than that, no problem.
Were you encouraged by your supporters this evening?
They're fantastic! Thank you!
Your supporters have been brilliant. You've been a fantastic contender. You go through to the quarterfinals. It's great. Let's hear it for Helen!
Well, Julie, I guess at the end of the day, we could say that the kids have had a good day out.
They'll have had a brilliant time. I've had a brilliant time. Don't get me wrong.
It's been magnificent for you to make it here on Gladiators. I mean, you've worked so hard to get here.
Training, I did a really good run through. I just made a complete mess.
Well, it was very exciting and you provided us with plenty of entertainment.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oh, no.
Let's hear it for Julie.
A bouquet, a medal, and the honour of being one of the few people in the world who've tamed the Eliminator. But to the victor, the spoils. Helen's there with a kiss for her mum, not to mention her boyfriend, Michael. Here's Mum. Certainly beats Saturday shopping at the supermarket. One for the family album there. In the ladies' Eliminator contest, Audrey Garland's record of 1 minute 41 was shattered tonight by Helen, who clocked 1:32.7. About to tackle the Eliminator. Carl's 10-point lead gives him a 5-second advantage.
Well, Carl, at stake is a place in the quarterfinals. What are your thoughts just at this moment?
I wish Gordon all the best and may the best man win.
Oh, that's very nice. Is Gordy, the steam engine, going to steam his way through this lot?
That's right. I'm going to go for distance and I'm going to go to speed, but I'd just like to thank the whole crowd, because tonight you've been great and you've cheered me on. So give yourselves a cheer, everybody.
Well, the very best of luck to the two of you, and I'll see you both at the end. Over to you, John.
Carl, you will go on my first whistle. Gordon, you will go on my second whistle. 3, 2, 1.
Carl Wooton, the wild thing from Sittingbourne, sets off. Former builder, now a PT instructor in the prison service, followed by Gordon Henry James, a computer programmer from Birkenhead. Ully's related him to Thomas the Tank Engine characters. He'll need to get up steam to catch up Carl. He's at the top while Carl's at the bottom. Turns to the rope, legs up. Gordon finished his network, joins him on the rope. It's fast and furious, and Gordon's lost it. Disaster for Gordon. Couldn't get a grip on the platform. And Carl pedaling for victory. Gordon recovers to start his bike run. Strenuous arm work from Gordon. Carl on the trapeze, swings to the cargo nets, no margin for error. Knows Gordon's pulled back 5 seconds once already on this course. And Gordon's certainly gaining. Carl climbs. Gordon's mum got on her feet. Carl still leads on the net. His mum Val can hardly bear it. Top of the net, still looking strong. Race for the zip. Here comes Carl. Gordon clumsy on the gantry. Carl, zipliner, steady, consistent performance, but needed that head start. Splashing down. Here comes Mr. Shifter, a remarkably fast eliminator from Gordon. Carl turns to the seesaw as Gordon lands. Giant strides up the beam, forces it down, good dismount. Starts his second while Gordon's on his first. Both guys steady. Sister Saracen giving Carl what for. He storms up the travelator. He's going to win it into the quarterfinals of the Gladiators. Mum and Dad beside themselves with pride as Gordon finishes 2 seconds adrift.
So happy with that. Yeah, brilliant. Whoa!
Gordon pushed you all the way, though.
Yeah. I sent him out there. Heard there was a go. Felt him on the cargo net. Put into another gear and he's there all the way.
Coming down the zip line, did you think it was yours?
I looked across. I saw him. I thought, go on, keep going, keep going. I'm worried about them balance beams. Got there.
And then the travelator. You must have been a little bit worried about that.
No, I'm all right with the travelator balance beams. Yeah. That's the dirty one. I'd say Gordon's been a great contender and we're good pals.
You've both been great contenders. Carl, you're the one who comes away with the spoils. You're the one who's got to come back. Let's hear it for Carl.
Well, Gordon, you provided us with a terrific eliminator, and you really did go hell for leather.
I thought I went quite fast there. The guy had a 5-second head start. I was nearly with him, but, you know, all credit to him. And I'm glad I've lost to a nice guy. He's a nice fella.
And you've had a terrific crowd behind you as well tonight.
The crowd's been with me 100%. I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. I want to go home.
We'll let you do that, and very best of luck in the future. Let's hear it for Gordon!
The flowers keep changing hands. Carl with his bouquet for his mum. There's his son, Aaron. What a little chap who's been cheering his dad on tonight. And here's his reward. Great scenes. And who can fail to be moved by the courage of these contenders? The spirit of gladiators. Gordon, presenting his flowers to his mum, started the eliminator 5 seconds behind, finished it 2 seconds behind. He may have lost, but his actual time from whistle to paper burst means he qualified for the fastest eliminator contest. Anthony Nesbeth's record time of 1 minute 17.2, clearly beaten by Gordon by 0.2 of a second.
So Carl and Helen are our last quarter-finalists.
Absolutely. We start the action all over again next week with our quarter-finals. So join us then for more action here on Gladiators.
For safety reasons, do not attempt to recreate any of the events you have seen on Gladiators.
You know, before Bullseye, Jim Bowen used to work as a bin man and went on to have a successful career in teaching. He did. He's here in a few moments with more Bullseye. And then Rachel Riley and Keith Duffy join Bradley for the Chase Celebrity Special. That's at 9, new to Challenge.